Hello and welcome to Blogsprout. I'm LJ and today I'm going to do a full walkthrough on how to create a WordPress website from start to finish. So this is best for people who are looking to build a niche website or a blog. So this whole website can be done with less than $100 invested, and it can be done less than an hour if you follow exactly the steps that I take in this video. I'm going to go through hosting, the theme, and how to set up your site structure on a completely public site so that you can check it out for yourself. So we got a long video ahead of us, so let's get started. So the first thing you're going to need to do to set up your WordPress site is get hosting. And I personally recommend Hostinger. I've used Hostinger for my websites and their customer service is really, really good. So I highly recommend you start up with them. So let's take a look at their web hosting plan. So I personally used their web hosting plan here with premium shared hosting. So as you see here, is $3 a month. That is if you buy multiple years, and if you follow the link below, you will also get an extra 20% off on your hosting plan. So if you're just starting your first website on WordPress, I recommend this premium shared hosting is what you go with first. You'll notice here that you get free email, unlimited bandwidth, you get free SSL, you get Cloudflare, and you get a free domain. So this is a great option for those just starting out. The one thing you will notice is that this does not have designated servers. So what this means is you're actually sharing servers with other people. So depending on how many requests are coming in across all of the different websites on the server, your site speed could be hindered. So that's why it's great for starting up when your volume is low to your website and your traffic is low, because the resources get used up by other people. Eventually you'll want to upgrade to, say, cloud hosting, which you can see here is a bit more expensive. So you will notice they also have a WordPress hosting plan. I haven't personally used it, so I'm not exactly sure how it performs. So I can't speak to that, but I can speak to the shared hosting, and I have zero complaints about it to this point. And just for some reference, you may find on their website that there are guidelines on how many monthly visitors that each of these can support. And I believe somewhere along the way, Hostinger mentioned that this premium shared hosting should only support about 25,000 visitors a month. And my site's getting over 50, and I'm having zero problems on this hosting plan. So I actually already have a Hostinger account. So I'm going to log into my account. So after you've selected your plan, you will then be able to see your hosting plan here and any domains you currently have. But if you're completely starting a new site, you're going to need to create a domain. So Hostinger allows you to purchase and search domains on their website. So you can look up different domain names and see if they're taken or not. I've already done my research, and the domain that I want to choose is this. So as you'll see, my first month is a $7 fee, and after it'll bump up to $14. So I already have my domain set, and I'm going to purchase it. So I'm going to purchase 2 years. You'll notice the first year is only $1 and the second year is $14. So for the next 2 years, I will have this domain ready for $15. I also recommend adding this who is privacy. So you may or may not know that you can look up the owner of any website if someone does not have this protection. So you can simply go to who is lookup, enter a domain name, and find out who owns it. If you have this protection, there will be no information that can be searched of you. So usually this includes like an email or phone number and a name. And I'm all about privacy, so I do not want that to be readily available. So as you can see here, I have officially purchased the Construction Catalogs domain. So this is officially mine and nobody else can take it. So as you can see, there's a pending setup. So we're going to go through that process right now. So I'm going to use my existing profile and finish my registration. So now we can see that my domain is being registered. All right, so as you may have seen in the previous message, you may not get immediate registration of your domain, but you can start setting up your site already. So on Hostinger, this is what the domain overview is showing. So it says my domain is pending verification, and I will need to verify my contact information through my email. All right, so the verification went through. I just went to my email and verified my contact information. So now my domain is registered to me. What you will see is if we go to this domain, at the moment, nothing is going to show up. But what you'll see is that the domain is set up with Hostinger. So this is all you'll see at this point. So what we need to do now is actually set up our website. Once you've purchased a hosting plan, you're going to want to add this website to the hosting plan if you are hosting on Hostinger. If you're doing it on another domain, I will not be discussing how to do that. So we're going to select the hosting plan, which I have premium shared hosting at the moment, and we're going to confirm. So what this is going to do is allow Construction Catalogs website to be connected to this hosting plan. So if we go back to the website, we won't see anything different because no website has been created. So what we need to do is add WordPress. So if you go to the main dashboard of your website name, the hosting account, another way you can find this is by going to the hosting panel and clicking Manage on the website you're interested in. So then we're going to scroll down and go to the website portion. And at the moment, nothing is installed on this website, so I need to install WordPress. So I have not manually uploaded WordPress, so I want to click this Install WordPress. And I'm going to add the website title, which is Construction Catalogs. And you'll see I've created a password, and I'm going to click Next. All right, so what it will show me here is the recommended application version. As you'll notice, there are previous versions on here. I'm going to go to 6.0, and it'll show that I need 55 megabytes of space. And I have currently been using the update to only minor version, and I think that's a good way to go because I've noticed those minor versions don't usually impact themes. But the latest available version, if there's any major changes, it might impact the theme, and you want to make sure your theme's up to date before you update WordPress. So I'm going to go ahead and install WordPress onto my website. All right, so WordPress is currently installed. So what we want to do, one of the first things we want to do is force HTTPS. And what this is going to do is direct your site to a more secure domain. And SSL if you'll remember from earlier on in this video, there's a free SSL certificate when you get the Hostinger plan. So I'm going to install SSL so that HTTPS can automatically be forced. As you'll see, the installation is in progress. Okay, so currently we have HTTPS forced. So if we go to construction catalogs, you'll notice right now in the corner it says not secure. That's because I didn't have the HTTPS set up at this time. But I'm going to refresh the page and see what happens. And now you'll notice that something exists, which is great. And I no longer see that message because what we're seeing here is that HTTPS being forced. So this is all good for what we're trying to do. So once we have that set up, you'll notice that Hostinger likes to use Lightspeed, which is a cache feature of Hostinger. And at the moment, I'm going to turn that off because eventually I am going to be using the Ezoic cache feature. So I'm going to shut that off. All right, so at this point, I think we are ready to edit our website. All right, so you'll notice that when I installed WordPress, it also opened up this all-in-one SEO plugin. I don't like this plugin, so I'm going to go back to the dashboard rather than set it up. So let's take a look at what plugins it automatically installed. So if you're unfamiliar, plugins are simply additional features that are offered through WordPress that add extra features to your site. And as you'll notice, I have an all-in-one SEO. There's the Google Analytics by Monster Insights, there's Hostinger, there's Opt-in Monster, WP Forms Lite. And at the moment, I'm going to deactivate all of these. Sorry about that. We're going to deactivate all-in-one WP Migration, all-in-one SEO, and deactivate Google Analytics for WordPress. I'm also actually going to remove them. I'm going to remove Google Analytics. I'm going to remove Hostinger. That's something I haven't needed. I'm going to leave Lightspeed cache in case I need it. I'm going to remove Opt-in Monster. I'm going to remove WP Forms Lite. I'm going to remove all-in-one SEO and all-in-one WP Migration. So bulk action, I am going to delete these. All right, so now we have a very, very basic WordPress website. And as you'll see, there's still nothing set up on here. So we have our WordPress set up. Now the next thing we want to do is select a theme. So we're going to go to Appearance and Themes. So at the moment, the basic theme that comes with WordPress installed through Hostinger is 2022. This is a free theme, but I'm going to add a new theme, and I'm going to get Generate Press. So Generate Press has a free version, but they also have a paid version. So I am installing the free version, and I want to activate the free version. So we have installed and activated Generate Press, and I haven't been using Generate Press on my other websites, but I've gotten a recommendation from some of my colleagues in the industry saying that it's a very good theme. So there's a 14-day money-back guarantee through Generate Press on their premium. So I did purchase their premium for this specific website, and I hope if I see positive results, I will then change my other themes. So there's also a link down below for the premium Generate Press. There is a free version, but the premium version offers a few more features that will just be much easier to set up a site. So I do recommend it. It's a $59 1-year purchase and a $250 lifetime purchase. And you do have the ability to upgrade from a yearly to a lifetime if you so desire. So in the account, there's installations to GeneratePress, which I already have, and there's the GeneratePress Premium. So I'm going to open the installation instructions, and it tells me I need to download the Premium. I have the Premium file downloaded. So what I need to do is go to Plugins and add a new plugin. So we're going to go to Plugin, Add New. Right? And then we're going to look for the Upload plugin. So this is the same process you're going to do if you are installing any other type of plugin. So I assume we upload the zip and install now. All right. So now the plugin is installed, we are going to activate it. The other thing you'll notice is GeneratePress has an activating your license key for automatic updates. So I want to do this because I do in fact want these updates. So I'm going to go to my account, find my license key, and I have to go to Appearance, GeneratePress, and our dashboard. Appearance, GeneratePress, and license key. Boop. And we're going to update key. And now I am receiving premium updates. So at this point, my GeneratePress theme is activated. I do want to take a look at these modules. And I don't think I'm interested in having backgrounds. I think they'll just be a little bit messy. I do want to activate the blog plugin modules to see what's offered. I do want to activate copyright. As you notice, it's a custom copyright message in the footer. I don't want to disable any elements at the moment. I will activate their elements plugin. I will activate the menu plus. I do want to activate the site library because for this site I'm going to use a starter site. I'll activate the spacing for now. And the rest we're looking at is site identity, color options, typography, layout. So I'm going to stop here on setting up the theme because I want to think about how I want my site to look. As you notice, there's nothing on it right now. And I want to end up moving this proudly. I want to remove all of this and make it look better. But I want to focus on my site identity next. So the next thing we're going to do is create a logo. So my go-to to create featured images and logos is Canva. There's a link below if you want to sign up. So what we're going to do is design a logo. So I'm just going to go to this design spotlight and look under logos. So as it shows here, there are thousands of templates in logos. So I'm just going to browse to get some inspiration. And I want to find something that I feel will fit my site. So I have construction catalogs. So I'm looking for something very simple and that can be easily edited. All right, so I have created a simple logo for construction catalogs. And this is just a logo that is going to show up on the top of my site. It's going to show up as this little icon. So I'm going to download this. All right, so I have this download. I'm going to go back to my WordPress website. So I'm going to open the options for my site identity. So my site title is going to be Construction Catalogs. I'm going to hide the site title for the moment because I want to put my logo up there. So I'm going to select my logo. I'm going to upload it, and I'm going to add my alt text and edit. And then I'm going to adjust the height to make it fit this slightly better. Crop image. All right, so there we go. We have the logo set up. Granted, it's very big and I want to fix that. So I'm going to adjust the width and make sure it is a bit smaller. So I'm just going to leave it at that because honestly, my logo, for the sake of the site, isn't all that important. I just want to have some type of branding so that it looks official. So I'm going to change the icon, and what this is going to do is allow, as you can see up here, the icon to show up when you search. And I can check how this looks like on a tablet form and a phone or mobile form. It's actually kind of big on mobile, so I'm going to turn it down just slightly because it's really not all that important. So these are the changes I've made. As you'll notice, this is not for my home page. This is for a specific page. So now that we have our logo set up, GeneratePress installed, and the premium features set up, I'm going to select a template from the site library from the premium features. So in the Appearance and GeneratePress tab, you will find the site library, which I previously activated. So I'm going to open site library. And what this is going to provide is a range of templates to use for a website. That way you don't have to build one from scratch. And for me, this is most interesting since I am just wanting to get this site out and ready to go. So I'm looking for something that's very simple, will fit in well with my color scheme and logo. And I am gravitating towards the one up here called Scribe. It seems kind of newsworthy, not kind of informative and fairly formal. And it also has a nice menu up here as well as the logo. So what we're going to do here is click Get Started. So what this is going to do is you can choose to import the theme options and import the demo content. And for now I do want to do that just so I can see what articles look like and photos, and then I'll have to go through and delete that. So I'm going to begin the import. All right, and now the import's complete and I can view the site. All right, so now we have the theme imported and the existing site imported. So what I'm going to do next is go to the Customize tab on my Appearance. So we still see that the logo has been selected. And that's going to show up in the top corner. And I'm going to hide the site tagline because I don't like that in there. For the size of the logo, that's fine with me. Then we're going to go to layout. So the layout, I like to keep the containers the way they are. In the header, I want I'll keep the current because I like the setup like this with the menu in the top corner. The header width I want to be contained because I think it just looks a little bit better. And I'm going to leave it like that. Primary navigation, I haven't made any menus yet, so I'm going to get back to that. Sticky navigation I'm going to leave that off as well for now. Off canvas panel, I'm not sure what that is, so I'll have to look into that. Sidebars, I want the main page to be content, no sidebars, but I want the blog to be content and a sidebar. So that way I can have ads being shown on the right side of my mobile and desktop site. And a single post is also going to be the same structure. Then the blog, I will revisit that. And the footer is going to be full width for the color size, but the inner is going to be contained. I'm going to have I'm going to enable the back to top button in the corner. And I'm going to keep the footer widgets at 0 because I need to change this in the future. So we're just going to publish this for now. All right, so that was, the next thing we're going to do is look at the layout. Just kidding. At the colors. So I'm going to go back to my Canva and add these colors to my color palette on my website. So I can see that one is FFF6CF. I'm gonna make that maybe this color. FFF6CF. All right. And then the other one, that's my main color, is F2C70F. F2C70F. All right, cool. So those are the main colors that I'm looking for. FFF6, yeah. Okay. No, I want this to be white. All right. So I like that. I got rid of that purple and added the light and dark yellow. The headers look good. Primary navigation looks good. I really want to keep it very light overall. So I would like to make it the same. You know what? I'll keep it black, or this dark color, because it reminds me of construction. So We're going to leave that like that. So now that we have our logos and colors set up, I'm going to go to typography. So this is going to select the appropriate fonts. So something that I've learned is that Google Fonts can really slow down a site, so I'm trying to avoid using them in my content. So if I go to the font manager, there's a bunch of fonts listed, but most of them are Google Fonts. So there's only a few options that are part of the system. So I'm choosing Helvetica for, my main titles, and then Arial as the content font. Again, these are not Google fonts, so that is not selected. So the rest of the typography manager just gets auto created. I may or may not change the sizing later, but this is a great place to start. So we're going to ignore the general file. The menus, I said I still have to build. Widgets we'll get to. Homepage settings. This is very much what I'm looking for. So my homepage settings need to be a specific page, but I don't have that page available. So I'm going to select a new page and make this home. And I want to be structured just like this, but I have to create it first. All right, so now that we've done the basic customization settings on our site, we want to then look at elements. So elements is something specific to Generate Press, and what it allows you to do is create formats and footers and headers and navigation, everything you can imagine, and it can apply it to any different type of post, blog, page, the entire site. So we're going to go through that. The things I'm going to focus on right now are the home page intro. So this is something that is automatically covered when you import that demo site that I chose. So what we're going to do, what I did is I changed this title to the title of my website and created a little sub-tab. And that's just a brief little description of my site. And I want this to only show on the front page. This is just so my front page can look a little bit more exciting. So if I update this, you'll notice that I have added this element only to my home page. If I go to the About, for example, we will not see that there. But if I go back to the home, it is still there, which is great. Let's look at the site footer. So the site footer, I do not plan to keep or use any type of social media, so I'm going to remove those buttons. I would like to keep a Contact Us page, and that's going to bring us to the Contact Us site. So as you can see, I want to change that to the link once I make a contact page. I want to leave the copyright in the bottom. I want to change Scribe was the base theme, so I'm going to change that to my website name. And I'm also going to leave a privacy policy link, a terms of service. Actually, I'm going to change the terms of service to disclosure. And I'm just going to make this with the sub tab for now. So we're just going to keep it really simple, but this way it keeps our copyright on the bottom. We have the Contact Us form, and we have the links to the privacy policy and disclosure. I do think I'm going to add some text here, and that's going to be a affiliate disclosure. So I'm going to use what I currently have on my other site and place that on the bottom. So So if this is an option, I want to make the size just a bit smaller. Okay, so this way I have the disclosure on, just a brief disclosure to protect myself since I am creating a resource for people. I want them to be sure that I'm doing my best to keep it accurate, but it's their responsibility to verify the information and to make any adjustments and changes on their own terms. So I also will apply to the Amazon affiliate program, so I'm just going to leave that in now, but there will be a full link to the disclosure at the bottom of the site as well as the privacy policy. So I'm going to leave this as is for the site-wide footer. So as you can see, this is located on my entire site, and that's perfect. That's where I would like it to be, and I don't want it to be excluded anywhere because there's no need to do so. So if we update that, we refresh, we can see that the changes have been made. So that's a great start. So let's keep looking at the rest of the elements that I'm most interested in. I'm going to take a look at the single post navigation. Okay, and I would like to have this listed here if I can. Yeah, we're going to leave that, see where it is. So currently it's on the bottom, and that's great. So the static page hero is standard like this. I'll keep it, and what you'll see is that is simply for all of your pages rather than posts, they'll be displayed like this at the top. So I'm happy with those options. There is an email newsletter section. I do not plan to have an email, so I removed that, and these archives and things like that I will look at later. So one of the things we're going to walk through next is going through the style of a singular blog post. So GeneratePress uses specific elements where you can edit the layout of your post. So right here you'll see there's a single post written as a layout, and it's included on all post types. So if I open up the single post, you'll notice that I have it set to content with sidebar. And what content with sidebar does is it allows you to place ads on this sidebar. If there is no sidebar, you cannot place ads or sticky ads on the side of your content. So the footer I have set to default, which we went over previously and formatted. The content I left to default, but I changed the content width to 1200. So before it was 800, and it cut this off into like by a quarter. And 1200 is what I know to be the standard, so I changed that. So the location, it's all on posts. Those are all the settings I have for the post layout. But as you'll notice, I have this search bar, I have this header, I have this information. So where I can find that is on the single post page hero. So the single post page hero is the what's shown at the top of the page. So the title's listed here, the post date is added, and the categories. So as you'll notice, these are conditional based on the page that you're on. So how you can add something to this this header is we can go to browse all and find different information that we might need. Here is post date, here's the type of post category, you could add the tags, you could add the authors. I don't want to add the authors because it's mostly going to be me, and it's not really all that important because it's going to be very informational based. You can add your site logo, but as you'll see, there are a lot of customizations that you can make, but I want to keep mine simple, so looking like this. So these are the settings that I'm using. So the other things that are on my page are, so the content is actually what's found in the posts, in the actual posts. So we're going to actually ignore that part because all that can be formatted within the actual content of my posts. But once we get down here is where I have some content like duplicated essentially. So these are also created through elements. So as we saw the site footer, but the other thing we have is single post navigation. This is something that is default on the theme demo import that I selected, and as you'll see, it has the previous post and there's no future post listed at the bottom. That's just to allow people who are interested to read other articles. What I chose to add, which I couldn't figure out before, was how to add a like related articles section. So I did this also using an element. So you can see I have a related articles excavators. So what I did is I actually added this select query loop. So I'm just going to duplicate what I have up here so that I can walk you through it. So GeneratePress says you need to first create a container. Then the container, I'm going to do a query loop inside, and I'm going to start blank and select image, date, and title. So what it does is it first lists it in the format where it has the image, date, and title. So I'm going to first put it into a grid format. You can change the number of columns. I think 3 is very aesthetically pleasing. If you want to make this any of your articles, the settings in which you can do that are over here. So you can order these by the newest, oldest, or alphabetically, but you can also do filters. So what I'm going to do in my site is create a related article section for each of the categories that I have. So that way, when someone goes to my site and reaches the bottom, they will now see only posts that are in a specific category. You'll also notice that you can scroll through pages if there's more than 3 articles, and if you choose, you can add a subtext to specify why there are no results. So that's all I did here. You'll see in my query I have newest to oldest, and I have it including the category excavator. So in just a minute, we're going to go through the menus, so you'll get to see the sites that I chose. I actually also want to remove the post date because that's not going to be very important for my content. So I'm going to go back and remove this container and update. And if we refresh, we'll see that that date is gone. So the last thing on a single post page is this sidebar. So the sidebar is actually listed in the widgets tab under appearance. So in the widgets, you'll be able to see what's in the right sidebar, left sidebar, and then there's header and footer. I'm going to ignore those because those are mostly taken account with the elements that I'm using. So right now, the default that came with my theme had the search bar, and then it had related articles and comments. And right now, I'm just going to leave it as the search bar because that's most relevant to someone going through my site. But I may end up adding a menu as I develop this site a little bit further. So the next thing we're going to focus on are menus. So I still haven't yet designed my homepage, and that's in part because I want to think about the structure of my site. It's really important that you consider how you want things to be categorized and interlinked. So right now you can see that there's a single menu on the top of my site that has this quote blog section with categories underneath, an about section, styles, and contact. So I want to change this menu structure to be slightly different in the way I envision it. So I'm talking about construction vehicles. So I want to have a section that are on different types of vehicles. As you can see, I put one example of excavators here. And what I'm going to do is change this drop down to have specific types of vehicles. And then I'm going to have a different page option that goes through different brands. And this is going to be an ever-changing menu, but I'm just creating a baseline so that as I add more content, I have the ability to improve and organize the information on it. So the way we're going to update our menus is we are going to go to the Appearance tab and then Menus. So as you can see, right now the default, it has this blog, which right now it's set to a custom link just as my homepage. I will eventually change that, but you'll see that these are all categories. And in my opinion, I actually want to create a specific page for each of these. So like what you'll see here is if I select this business, it brings it to an individual page. So I actually want to adjust this menu so that each of these, rather than categories, are actual pages. They are the categories, in fact, but I want to create a specific page so that when you go to one of these categories, you don't just see a giant list. You see it a little bit more structured and easy to follow. So what I'm going to do is I have a list here of some of the types of construction vehicles. And based on my research, I know I want to focus on excavators, I want to focus on backhoes, I want to focus on UTVs, which is not listed here. And we'll just start with those three for now. So I have this category excavators. I'm going to go back to a post so I can then create new categories. So the new categories I'm going to create are going to be backhoes, add new category, UTVs, and we'll just stick with those three for now. So what I'm going to do is go back to my menu options under Appearance, and I'm going to add those categories and UTVs, add to menu. So I'm going to remove the business, remove the culture, remove the fitness, remove the science, because these are all just what came in the default. So right now I'm really getting down to customizing. So as I mentioned, right now these are categories and I want to change them to links. So this is just to help you get an idea of the structure that I'm using, but I actually need to go and create individual pages for each of these categories. But before we do that, I want to keep working on this page a little bit more. I want to remove this style sheet. I want to keep the contact page. I want to keep the about page. And then this is going to be vehicles. So this is going to be focusing on the type of vehicles. And I want to also add a custom link that includes brands. And I'll just make this the home page for now so that we can simply add it to the menu. So off the top of my head, the pages that I'm going to want to add are, or the brands I'm going to add, I'll actually, I'll make it just a custom link for now so you can see the structure. And I'm going to have John Deere. We're going to add Caterpillar. And we're going to add Kubota. So all I did here was just make this look a little bit nicer and help you show what eventually I want my menu to look like. So if we go back to the site and refresh, you can see I have now the brands here, John Deere, Caterpillar, Kubota, and there's going to be a bunch more as I add, and then different types of vehicles. But ultimately, I want each of these to be their own pages rather than just link back to the home page, which they're set to right now. So that means we need to create a page. So I'm going to add a new page, and I'm going to label it UTV. And I'd like to have another query loop in here where I have the latest articles, just like we did before. And they're going to be newest to oldest. The category is going to be UTV. And there's nothing in there right now, so that's totally fine. I would like to add a header in here and just say latest posts. We're going to move that to the top of the query, publish it, and just take a look. So if I refresh here, I'm going to go to vehicles, UTV. Again, there should be, there's nothing showing, but I want it to be showing. Oh, because I didn't select the link. So if I go to the actual UTV page, there we go. You'll see I have the latest posts, but nothing is listed. So I want to do this for every page that I have created. So I'm going to copy it, and duplicate this content for my other section. So the vehicles is excavators. Let's make an excavators page. And we're going to just add that latest post again. Okay, so that didn't work. So let's make a new container. I could make a reusable block, but it's really not all that difficult. So I forgot I want to remove the post date and then change the category to excavators. And we want to add in a heading that says latest posts and bring that to the top of the container. Again, we're going to publish this. So this is going to be that excavators page. So we have one more to do with backhoes. So we're going to create a container again. We're going to query loop, start blank, make it a grid format because I just like the grid format. We're going to remove the post date and select the category of backhoes. All right, then we're also going to add that heading of latest posts to publish. All right, so now we've created very, very simple pages for this menu. So if we go back to our menu, we want to now change this excavator to the page excavator. So I'm going to add the excavators, backhoes, and UTV pages to my menu. So I'm going to remove the category pages. And I'm going to put these new pages that I just created under this vehicles tab. And I'm going to save the menu. So what you're going to notice here is if I refresh, we have the vehicles. They have the same structure, but if I click it, we now visit the excavators page. And something is wrong. Okay, just kidding. Something happened on the back end. But this is exactly what we're looking for. If you remember, we have that page title set up like this. And then we have a list of our latest posts, which have that excavators tab. So I also want to do this for these brands. So we're just going to go through the exact same procedure. Kubota. Again, there's nothing posted under these, so that's why nothing is showing up. So right now we're just creating a very simple structure that allows us to kind of organize all the information on our site. And this is actually, in my opinion, really important to let Google know how your site's structured. So again, we're going to go back and remove the custom links and add the brands. And ideally, I'd like this to be alphabetically because it just makes more sense to me. So we're going to save the menu again, go back, and now we should see this format on all of these pages as well. So we see John Deere, the latest post, nothing is there because nothing is under there. Had this version again. If this happens, just refresh it. I think it's just something on the back end. So all we're doing is just creating a very, very simple, organized blog so that your categories can fit into a menu very nicely. And all this is doing is putting your latest posts connected to these. If you follow my site, you'll probably notice in time the structure will change slightly, but I think this is a great place to start. So one thing I forgot to mention is that the default of this format just allows you to display these posts. It doesn't make them clickable. So we actually want to go back to all of these pages we just created and change that. So we're going to start from the top. And if I select this query, I'm going to remove the category so we can see all the images. So once we select the image, we can say click to link to post, and same thing with that. And I like to open in a new tab. I just think it's a good idea. So we're going to go back, change the category. So now what we'll see here, oh right, of course there's no articles. So I'll do it on the excavators one because I know I have some articles listed under there at the moment. They're not real articles, but we're going to link to post and then make the link a title and update that. So that way, if we go to the excavators, these show up and they're actually clickable and can bring you to your site. So that's an important thing to do. And you'll notice I made those settings down here as well. So another thing that's really important to have on your pages before you try to apply for ad networks, other than a website setup and some content on it, are your privacy policies, your about pages, and your affiliate disclosures. So on a privacy policy, I just use the same privacy policy that I took from my previous website. It has information that how the information is collected and used, and this, you want to make sure that this is applicable to your site. We will have to, when I sign this site up for Ezoic, I will have to add the Ezoic privacy policy link, which is slightly different. If you participate in newsletters, I have it here just in case I choose to do so in the future. You want to make sure you have contact information. That's an important thing to have, and rights they have over their information. So you just want to make sure that the theme you use, the information you collect, the comments, everything is accurate. So we're going to publish this. I'm going to copy the link, and what we're going to do is, if we go back to the elements and we go down to the site footer, we remember that we have that privacy policy in there. So there is a link, and I'm just going to copy the privacy policy link and open it in a new tab. So then if we refresh, and we go down to the privacy policy, it'll bring us to our privacy policy page. And similarly, we want to add a disclosure page. And this is an affiliate disclosure, which mostly is shown in the privacy policy, but I like just making it very explicit. I like making it very explicit as to what information I am taking, and basically saying this website is part of the affiliate program, specifically mentions part of Amazon affiliates, and if I choose to add any other affiliate programs, I'll probably put it in there as well. So I'm going to publish this again, and we're going to go back to those elements again and go into the footer one more time. And as you notice, I have the disclosure at the bottom of my page, but I also like to create a link just to cover all my bases. So now our page, if we have the disclosure, will bring us to the affiliate disclosure. So the last thing we want to do is our about page. So the last pages we want to set up on our site are our about page and our contact page. So first we're going to go into the contact page. So with the import of the demo site, there was something that existed here, but I'm just going to create my own. Simple page. It's just going to say if you need to contact us. So you may notice here that I put a space in between the @ symbol and the previous and following text, and this is because I think it prevents bots from spamming the emails. Then the other thing I'm going to do is just create a button here that's just going to say send an email, and I'm going to make this link be mail to, and then it's going to be alright. So if someone clicks on that link, it's going to automatically open up their emailing app and send us an email. So I'm also going to update that page. The last thing we're going to do is edit the about page. And for all of you watching this channel, you know that I own the site, but for the sake of making this site, I'm just going to keep it, really simple and just say, this is construction catalogs and Alright, so I just wrote a really quick about us page. I think if you're trying to really build like a personal brand and you're picking something that's say in a hobby niche or something like that, you'll probably want to put like a picture and a little bit more about yourself. But for the sake of what I'm trying to go for, it's just it's going to be a catalog. It's going to be really simple in terms of how it's structured and the information that's presented. It's not really gonna, I'm not gonna have a lot of personality in it. So I'm just kind of keeping it towards the brand. So I'm gonna update this page. So the next thing we're going to do is just create a really simple home page. And as you know, right now our home page is pretty bland. It has that title that we went through earlier. And all we're going to do is just create a featured image and then our latest posts. So I'm going to actually go ahead and remove this, remove the container, remove container, remove container. Okay, so I'm just going to add a query again, start blank, and we're going to do image title date. And I'm going to make this, rather than the others we've seen 2, it's going to be 2. So this is just going to be a list of our latest posts. Again, I prefer to remove the post date. I want all of these to be links to the post. So as you can tell, this is a really handy feature, at least that I enjoy using for this homepage. So unlike the other pages, we don't want to exclude anything in the filters, authors, keywords, any of that, because we're just trying to create a homepage that someone can go to and see a list of everything. Long term, this website is going to have a more organized homepage that just looks a little bit nicer and helps someone kind of navigate for what they may be looking for in addition to the menu. You know, there just might be better blocks, for example, here that have different brands that they can explore and things like that. But that's not going to happen in this video. So as you can see, we have the latest articles. I forgot to add that heading that is going to be latest posts. And we're just going to put that at the top so people know what they're looking at. And then what I'm going to do here is there's actually a featured articles block content here. And I'm just going to copy the whole thing because I think it's pretty nice. I think it looks very good. So we're going to try to add this to our homepage. So here's a featured article that is going to show up. So if I update this, let's just see what we have on our homepage. All right. So we have a featured article and the latest posts. So what I would do for a featured article is I would go to whatever post I want to make my featured article. And this is just a good idea if you have a specific article that you want people like going to your site to see. Your featured article, so it's going to be this article. So I'm going to copy this link, and this is just for a demo. The title is going to be Taking Steps to a More Inclusive Workspace. And that's going to be the featured article that will encourage people to go directly towards. And I'm going to make this a link. Oops. I'm going to copy this, add the link to it, open a new tab, and now this is a link. And I'm going to try to do the same thing with the image. So now we have a very basic website set up with the pages we need, with the structure, the customization, the logo, and we're going to just take a look at what our site now looks like. So here's the basic homepage. We have our disclosure, we have our contact us page, the privacy policy, a copyright, and then we have some featured images on the front. Then we'll notice in the top we have our contact, about, and then we made that menu for the vehicles. We made the brands, and this is going to continue to expand. This is just a very basic kind of outline of what I'm expecting the site to look like. So really the last thing that you need to do is create content. So we're going to go in and publish an article. So in order to create a new post, there are a couple of ways to do it. One of the first ways you can do it is select this new up in the top corner and select post, or you can go over on the left to your posts, select add new, or select add new up in this button. As you notice, I already have some content in my blog, and that's because I uploaded some demo content from the WordPress theme demo import, and those are going to be deleted once I upload my first post. So I'm going to add new posts here. So there are two ways in which you can create a post. You obviously can write your draft and edit it in the actual WordPress application, which is what I typically use, because that way I save a lot of time in formatting and do everything first run around. But in this case, I had some content outsourced, so it's currently in a Google Doc. So I just copied that over and I'm just going to paste it into this text. Everything seems to translate over very well. If you use the header tags in Google Docs, those will translate over. Lists will translate over. The only thing that doesn't seem to translate over well are the images. So I'm going to remove this heading because that item's actually going to be my featured image, and on my post structure, that image is already there. So I'm also going to copy the title, and now I've got my content up and ready to go to be published. But before I publish, one of the things I have to check is for the data on this right side. So I'll move my image a little bit more so you can see. So you notice that there's a save draft, a preview, and a publish button. So before you publish, you do always want to save the draft. And what this allows you to do is change the permalink. So when you go to your general post settings, there are a couple different options at the top. Usually I leave those as is. Active elements, we went through the elements earlier, and I'm going to keep those the same. And then we're going to go to the permalink. So I like to have the permalink just be the main keyword that we are targeting. So it's going to be Kubota RTV X 1140 specs. And if you don't save the draft beforehand, you won't be able to edit this permalink. And it'll use whatever your basic settings are on your permalink settings. Then you want to add the categories that it's going to be a part of. It's no longer on categories. It's going to be a UTV, and it's going to be Kubota. And here you can see I can select the primary the primary category. And I'm actually going to use the primary category as the manufacturer rather than the type of vehicle. You can add additional tags. They don't really affect any metadata or anything with SEO, but if you want to organize these better, you could put them in there. You know, I could put a tag for the actual vehicle name or a family, but I usually leave that blank because it doesn't add enough value for me. You want to make sure you set the featured image, so I have already uploaded the image here, and I have made the title to be the main keyword I'm looking for, and then the alt text is going to be the main keyword I'm looking for, followed by featured image. And I'm going to set that as my featured image. Then you're going to want to add an excerpt, which will oftentimes just be like the first paragraph of your post if you've written the first paragraph to optimize to answer the question. In this case, I am going to leave it blank for now because I simply haven't created an excerpt. I'm going to leave everything else the way it is, and I'm going to save that draft again. Then I'm going to look over to the rank math settings and just see if there's anything over here that I'm interested in. So what it's going to show you up in this top corner is what your site's going to look like in search results. So we notice that it has the title as the header, and then it's just using the first paragraph as the excerpt. If I were to go back and change that in here, it would then change it in rank math. You'll also notice there are additional suggestions that Rank Math will give you once you put in your focus keyword. It'll tell you, you should have it in a title or the description and things like that. But I'm not optimizing this for the sake of the video. So now that we have this ready, before we publish, we can actually preview the site. So we can select preview, and then right at the bottom it says preview in a new tab. So this is going to open your site exactly how it's going to look when someone lands on your page. It's going to have the title up top, the featured image, which is how I selected my site to look, followed by the rest of the content. So I like how it looks, and we can just simply, behind my image now, hit the publish button. And then you can choose if you want it to publish publicly, immediately, and then since I didn't add any tags, it's telling me to add some tags. And I can just click this publish, and now it'll provide us with the new link. We can copy the link and then view this in a new tab. You can see it looks exactly the same as it did before. So that's really the basics of how to kind of create a WordPress site from scratch. This is really the easiest way to get everything done. If you buy that GeneratePress and translate over one of those themes, it's going to make your life a lot easier. And it's a lightweight theme. It doesn't require a lot of extra plugins. It looks pretty good. So I'm really happy with how this site looks, and why I made this site is so that you guys can all follow along with me on how I'm growing the site, and I can also use the site as a demo for any things I want to teach you. So in the next few videos, I'm going to go over how to get your site ready to be like indexed by search engines, how the content has been created using my brand swapping technique, and it's just everything else that goes into creating the site, such as adding ads through Zoic and AdSense and things like that. So this is going to be a great site for both me and for you, so that you can kind of follow along with me and see exactly what I'm doing to grow this site. So feel free to take a look at this site. It's constructioncatalogs.com, and you can see everything that I've done to date on the site. So I hope this was useful. Hopefully you went along with me throughout this process. I have links in the description for GeneratePress, for Hostinger, for Zoic, everything that you'll need to do exactly what I did today, and I'd appreciate it if you click those links, because I do get a little bit of commission if you support me in that way. Yeah, this video was a lot of effort, so I would appreciate the support if you haven't already created a web page and are looking to create one just like this. So stay tuned for the rest of this video, how it grows, and what I plan to do in the future. So thanks for sticking with me throughout this whole video. I know it was long, but tried to cover everything that's required for you to build a site in WordPress completely from scratch. So please like and subscribe, as you always do, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.